Just when you thought we were back on track, boom, another injury concern. 2 key players could be out longer than we thought, and we're not even halfway through the season. Can Birmingham City cope with this, or are we heading into a January transfer scramble? Stay tuned for the inside scoop, and make sure you're subscribed so you're the first to know what happens next at the Blues. So, after a big 4-0 win over Shrewsbury Town, you'd think we'd be riding high, right? Well, yes and no. The result was brilliant. Scott Wright bagging a brace, Iwata and Hansen chipping in. But what's happening behind the scenes might be a concern. We've got to talk about this growing injury list. Let's start with the captain, Christian Bielik. He's out for what Chris Davies has called a few weeks at the very least, with an ankle injury picked up in the Charlton game. That's a blow. Bielik is the backbone of this team, both mentally and physically. The way he controls the midfield, breaks up play, and drives us forward is something few others can replicate. But here's the kicker. Why is it always him? Bielik's injury prone, and we all know it. He's got immense talent, no question, but his availability is always a worry. Can Birmingham City realistically build a team around someone who's so often in the treatment room? Or do we need to start thinking about life without Bielik as a central figure? Then there's Tomoki Iwata, who had to be subbed off at halftime in the win over Shrewsbury. Now, Davies sounds optimistic about his recovery, calling it not too bad on first look. But until we have clarity, should we really be taking that risk? The last thing we need is another key player out for an extended period, especially someone as dynamic as Iwata. Are we pushing these players too hard? Injuries are part of football, but when you see one after another going down, you gotta ask if something needs to change in how we manage fitness at the club. And don't forget the goalkeeper situation. Bailey Peacock Farrell is already out, and it seems like he's been struggling with a shoulder issue since the Peterborough game. That's why Ryan Alsop has been starting. Now, Alsop's done a decent job, but let's be real here, he's not Peacock Farrell. He doesn't command the box in the same way, and if Bailey's shoulder issue drags on, we could see a serious dip in quality between the sticks. So, where does this leave us? The result against Shrewsbury was fantastic, but if we're going to make a serious push this season, we can't afford to have key players sidelined for long. We're looking at Bielik potentially out for weeks, Iwata's situation unclear, and now Peacock Farrell's fitness in question. Should the club be more aggressive in the transfer market come January? Should we be looking for cover, especially in midfield and between the sticks, or do we trust these players can come back and stay fit for the rest of the season? Let me hit you with this. Are we really going to let injuries dictate our season again? This is a squad full of promise, but if we're not careful, we'll be limping towards the end instead of sprinting for the finish line. Chris Davies and the staff need to take a long, hard look at how we're managing fitness and rotation. Something has to give, and it can't be our best players. Alright Blues fans, over to you. What do you reckon? Should Birmingham make moves in January to shore up the squad, or do we have the depth to cope with these injuries? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're here, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an update on all things Birmingham City FC. We're in this together, and your voice is just as important as mine. Keep right on.